What up, FIFA Tiers, and welcome to the Free FUT Tiers podcast, where today I am joined by my fellow co-host Luke. There is no Brad on today's episode. However, we are joined by a special guest. It has been a while since we've had a guest on, and today we have got Rocco's 11. How are you doing today?
Very well, mate. Yourself?
Not too bad at all. How are you doing, Luke?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well. I think things are going good.
So, if you don't know who Rocco is, he is a Twitch streamer, TikToker. He does YouTube videos. I presume I haven't actually checked that one to confirm.
Oh, my life. Amateur.
Amateur, I am indeed.
He's unsubbing from you now, mate. He's gone.
Yeah, he's unhappy. He's gone. He's quite. He must be shocked.
He might have walked off.
At the
I already clicked stop recording, mate. It's done. I'm out. I'm out. See you later.
Well, that was the shortest.
Thanks for having me on, boys.
Yeah, that was the shortest guest appearance that we've ever had. But you'll be able. I'll put all his links down in the description down below, so make sure to check him out. But before we get into properly today's subjects, I think we need to get to know you a bit more and gauge your thoughts and opinions, I guess, on FIFA 23. Normally we'll do this like the Q&A section, but we don't have a Q&A section anymore. So let's do it right at the start, you know? What do you think of FIFA 23? Do you enjoy it? Are you one of these haters, or are you somewhere in the middle, or are you a lover of FIFA?
It's a good question, really. I'm not a hater.
Okay, good.
I'm more of a get on with it kind of person. I feel like there's a lot of areas they could do better, but it's more. I'm probably in the middle, really. I don't dislike the gameplay. I just find it a little bit inconsistent, which I find like probably the most difficult part to get around. I think the content's like, it's not being bad, but I feel like it needs to be spread out more, rather than just sort of giving us everything in one day. So yeah, I'm probably in the middle, but because as a creator, I feel like you either get on with it or you do something else. Like there's no like you can't just sit there and like complain about the game. Yeah, whether it's not very good or not. If you want to create content on it and be a FIFA content creator, regardless of whether you like the game or not, you've just got to get on with it. That's kind of the way that I feel with it personally. I don't mind the game. Like, it's all right. Would I play it if I wasn't a creator? Probably not.
Yeah, I think also what helps is that you're a lot better at the game than, say, myself, you know? So it probably helps making the game a tiny bit more enjoyable in comparison to maybe the proper casual player, I guess. Because the problem is I think, realistically with FIFA, when you're losing, it properly gets on your nerves, because then you start noticing things, or you start letting it get on top of you, and then the enjoyment factor of the game gets on top of you, and then suddenly that's when a lot of people start quitting the game. Whereas in, like, I guess for yourself, you might be able to sustain that feeling a little bit more. Obviously you probably still get annoyed at the gameplay of the game because it's just FIFA, full stop. In terms of the gameplay, because you obviously said the content, but what about the gameplay?
So I feel like the better you are at this game, and the sort of the higher level that you play, the more you notice little things, and you, especially when it comes to like certain shooting situations or certain angles that you shoot at, like 1 minute will go in and then the next minute it doesn't, and it kind of irritates you more in a way.
Okay.
But I feel like with the skill-based matchmaking in every game mode, it kind of doesn't really matter a lot of the time how good you are. Because I'll go into a Rivals game the same as you go into a Rivals game. You know, it doesn't matter which division I'm in, because I'm playing people in my division. And the same as like the swaps and the friendlies, I'm playing people in the same divisions as me. The only thing that probably I find less stressful than somebody that's weaker at the game than me is FUT champs. But as I say, if something you can really tell when the gameplay's kind of gone. I don't know. I feel when I was trying to improve at this game, and when I kind of went from, you know, when it was like the old tier system, going from very low rankings to quite a good rank, like the elite ranks, you've got to stop blaming the game and blame yourself, because say for example you let in a goal and your goalkeeper jumps over the ball, which they do, right? If you watch that 30-second clip back, I guarantee within those 30 seconds you made a mistake. Whether you gave the ball away on the halfway line, or whether you didn't track a run, or whether you didn't, position your player in the right place, you've probably made a mistake to allow him to get in that position to shoot anyway. Yes, the keeper should save it, but if you'd have done your job originally, the keeper wouldn't have needed to save it. So I do find in a lot of situations that you can blame yourself, and when you do that, you improve more. But there are certain games that that genuinely I feel that there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean I remember watching some gameplay, whether that's the 1J Esports final with some of the reactions there. I mean, some of the faces when I saw you taking some Travellas that just weren't going in.
Yeah,
was quite something. Or whether it was the E-Prem qualifiers like myself.
Yeah, that hurt my soul.
Yeah, I get that. Mine was just out. Mine was quick and painless. That hurt to watch.
Yeah, that was. I mean, luckily it was against one of the the young pros at the organisation that I'm part of, so it wasn't too much of a blow because it's good to see him go through. But yeah, on a personal standstill, like it was quite sad. But it is what it is, Move on.
Talking about moving on, we'll move on to our main subjects for today's podcast. So obviously talking about the content that has been released in the last 7 days. So we'll start off with the main promo that came out on Friday, which is the latest World Cup promo called World Cup Stories. So this is a promo that is celebrating past and present successes or player successes at World Cups. And we've got quite an interesting selection of players within this promo. We also had a mini release on Sunday, which include Laporte, Giroud, and Nagatomo. So good collection. Also wide spread of prices as well within these cards. Even some of the players have been properly upgraded as well. So someone like Giroud, who has got a major pace increase, been upgraded to a 4-star. So again, it seems like EA are trying to fix some of these players to make them a bit more usable. But what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on some of these players within the promo, and have you been able to try any or packed any yourself?
You can go first, Laj.
Me go first. Okay, yeah, no, I've only really packed one of them, and it's the Croatian fella in Maya. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but there's some interesting cards in there. There's something for people who like playing free backs, with Alphonso Davies getting a wing card and actually keeping his defending. Got cards like Richarlison, which is going to have annoyed people a lot, because you could argue this is replace man of the matches. You could make that argument, and would that then be an upgrade pretty much to what it would be on his ones to watch card that people would have got for free? And now what is it, 600k, 500k for that card?
Yeah, something like that.
But then you got some interesting ones that, well, they're only going to link really to the Qatar players, i.e. Cavani and Dani Alves, who aren't technically in the game outside of these cards. Which is going to be interesting to see how people fit them in, whether they just obviously stick with Brazil teams, or whether they have to use other World Cup cards to get them on chemistry once fully the World Cup temporary cards go.
Now, you say about Cavani, technically he does have a perfect link with Luis Suarez, because he's got the Road to the World Cup card, which would be, as long as you get a manager that is Uruguayan, or I don't think you're going to be able to get that league. So yeah, you would need a Uruguayan manager. You could have Suarez and Cavani in the same team together, and that would be chemistry sorted for those two. Otherwise, yeah, if you're using other players, you would have to use these World Cup League players.
The cards
it's a bit
don't
weird
link,
that yeah, because basically, I don't know why, but Suarez and Cavani, as far as I'm aware, they're not actually proper Libertadores cards. They're classed as World Cup players, like the Qatari players.
Yeah, that's because they have no clubs. That's why. It's the same as Dani Alves.
No, yeah, but Suarez has got a club.
Because obviously
he's got
at launch.
He's in the game.
Yeah, but he
But
doesn't play for that team no more. If you even Suarez's base card now,
okay.
when you pack him, it's just Uruguay. He doesn't have a club anymore.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, it's just Uruguay.
Interesting.
I'm going to have a look at that right now. I packed him today.
So they don't link. He's just Uruguay, and Dani Alves is just Brazil, because Dani Alves doesn't link either, because he does, he doesn't have a club either. So none of them link, but they don't link to each other either. I used them in the same teams yesterday, and they don't link to each other either. It's a really stupid system, to be honest.
Yeah, that is peculiar.
It's an annoying problem that sort of comes to light. I just assumed they would because of how the Qatari players worked with me.
They link to pink cards, but that's not helpful.
Oh no, I mean, so when I say the Qatar cards, I mean the Azif and the one that you get in from using the tokens.
Oh,
like
do they? They link to them.
Those linked perfectly fine. Like the two Qataris, I'm pretty certain got a perfect link between each other on them, because their club was World Cup and their nation was Qatar, I think.
Oh, God knows. But they don't link to each other. Like so they
don't link to each other.
Like these new World Cup story cards don't link to each other, even if they have no club.
We love complicated stuff.
Very false. Very, very false. I've just put Cavani and Suarez into a team together. Check the chemistry. It shows they're getting a nation link, and then they're getting a club link. Oh, I suppose they're both Uruguayan, so yeah, it's a club link. So they'll be able to link together.
Two, yeah, but do they get one link or two?
So they're both on 2 right now.
Really?
So they're getting 1 for the nation and 1 for the club. So the club is counted as Uruguay, basically. So now I've got to try and find potential, I guess, a World Cup player just to check whether that.
So grab the Afif, the guy off the market, him. See if he works.
Yes. Let's have a look and see if he
live
adds
test
anything.
in the podcast. We love that. We love it when stuff goes on script.
Yeah, they've been given because they've got like their second link has come from like no badge.
Because otherwise, those cards become a little bit less usable after the World Cup if they don't fix that in some shape or form.
Well, Dani Alves is just impossible to link unless you have 7 Brazilians. You can't get him on 3 chemistry. There's no way. Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond like those, obviously slight problems. Obviously, the rest of the players and stuff like that are easy to link and quite nice. Obviously, Rashford as well. For instance, he's had an upgrade to his card because his weak foot has been upgraded to 4-star. So he's costing a pretty penny because of that slight upgrade.
Yep.
Over $1 million.
Yeah, no, he's about 9. I've used him yesterday. He's about 950.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I didn't see a massive difference between that and his player of the month. And his player of the month's pretty weak, really.
I did not get on with his player of the month that well. I will not lie.
I didn't think the card's not worth $1 million, in my opinion. But I did only play like 5 games of Rivals with him. To be fair, it's quite difficult to give a fair opinion after that.
I mean, I would have thought you'd probably fit the newer style of meta with the game and the more counter-attacking fast players style football.
Well, Rashford's controlled. He doesn't go explosive. So Rashford was probably better in the previous meta, to be honest, more than he is now, even though control cards have improved. But explosive players are so much more effective, especially like in the attacking third. So I probably he probably hasn't really changed that much, really, in terms of being meta compared to everybody else, if that makes sense.
So it's mainly on name value and 5-star skills nowadays that he's holding his price, you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, the 4-star weak foot is massive because Rashford's weak foot generally stinks, especially like in those situations on his left foot, like he just spoons it wide. So having a 4-star weak foot really does, it gives you more options otherwise, because Rashford's very much one-dimensional and it's quite easy to read if you, other than the fact that he's got good skills, but yeah, having the weak foot really helps.
And then, in terms of other content that came out on Friday, we've had a Team 2 of World Cup icons. It's not a long list in comparison to Team 1. There was only 7 No, wait. Yeah, 7 players that were released in Team 2. I gotta say, Team 2 doesn't look that particularly amazing beyond, like, some obvious names, I would say, like Eto, Roberto Carlos and stuff, but not necessarily the most thrilling of looking like selection, shall we say, for a Team 2. Do you guys agree or do you disagree? Like,
I
for
think
those
they,
7 players?
I think they screwed up big time. Like on this, there's no, like you say, Eto and Roberto Carlos. They're great icons, but they're not packing a Pele, are they? Or packing an R9 or a Cruyff. Like I'd be super happy to pack either of those, but
Yeah.
they're not going to have me dancing around the room. Whereas if I packed a 95 R9 or a 96 Pele, I'm probably going to have a little jig. And putting Pele in a mini release with already Cruyff, R9, and some of the better icons already in Team 1, it really didn't make sense. I don't know who decided who was in what team, but they really should have made the split different, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, for me, I mean, you're wondering, if in terms of big name icons, who they could have done for this. Dino's still sitting there undone. Like, they must be saving him for something else throughout the year.
Or throughout the promo. There's still, what? We've got another 13 days of the World Cup?
About that,
yes.
yeah. About that.
So we could get another set of icons, I guess.
It's something they could easily do.
But then again, there's going to be other promos that they probably put icons into, so there's still plenty more icons. So they probably would be saving him, not necessarily for World Cup, maybe a shapeshifters or something like that, you know?
Do you know who sort of surprises me that isn't in there? Or at least yet, we just say it could still be one. Gerd Muller.
Yeah.
Isn't he like second in all-time goals, like top goal scorer, third?
Yeah.
At a World Cup, so you'd have thought he'd be plastered all over this as a new icon.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a few names that they've missed out, really. There's obviously no Cafu as well.
Mm-hmm. He's in the...
he's in swaps.
He swaps.
Yeah.
As you say, there's no Ronaldinho, who obviously played a pivotal role in the 2002 World Cup that they won. Did Xavi get a World Cup card? World Cup icon?
So.
No Xavi.
No.
He was obviously part of the Spain squad.
I mean, Puyol's got the SBC card, so whether they're considering him for more of that 2010 World Cup.
Iniesta doesn't have an icon card yet, does he?
No.
Because obviously he would have been prime because he scored the winning goal in 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah,
2010
so
World Cup final.
there's a fair few icons that haven't been sort of put in my opinion. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't think it matters too much, really, in the grand scheme of things, because they're impossible to pack anyway. But, yeah, it just seems a bit odd. Dino especially, not having a card.
Especially when this one's not got a headline player, really, as we said. There's not really
I thought this was the headline for Dino. That's what I... Like, because we were sitting there and we were like, who even would you put as the head player here? And then it was like, okay. And then the fact that, you know, we were pretty sure it was going to be Dino. And then it just wasn't.
I mean, I've got to say, from looking at the prices of the 7 players that are in it, only 3 of them are over 250k. And then only 2 of them are worth more than 500k, which is Roberto Carlos and Eto, which kind of sort of sums it up in some ways. Like Shevchenko, 77k for his new icon card. It pretty much sums up how lackluster
the team is. I mean, and then you look at Team 1. You got Butra, who's been given a skill move boost up to 4, so that makes him like crazy usable. Figo got boosted up to a 5-star skiller. You got Eusebio, Cruyff, Zidane, R9, and Pele. Like, what? And then they give us Eto. Eto's a nice card, don't get me wrong. They're giving him a 5-star weak foot. But, like, where's the rest?
Do you know what it was, though? It's because they were in packs during Black Friday, though. So they probably were putting those, like, carrot on a stick situation with all the big names in that Team 1, just to sell the FIFA points, and then they've gone, doesn't matter now for Team 2. Whereas in like they could have, if it was probably outside of Black Friday, you probably might have actually seen like 2 of the big hitters, like maybe either Cruyff or Eusebio like being moved over to Team 2, and then like maybe, I don't know, Butragueño being switched over to Team 2 as well. But it just shows you in some ways that EA are always thinking about the money when it comes to decisions like this in some ways.
I find it curious as well. I'm just having a look at these World Cup icons now. We've had 13 forwards, right? So centre forwards or strikers. 13. And like centre backs, we've had 2. 5 defenders in total. About 2 centre backs. And Schweinsteiger was an SBC. Vieira is the swaps, isn't he? So, like, really, in terms of like a CM, 2, Zidane and Petit. And then you got Baggio and Laudrup, but they're probably more attackers anyway. So, really, they've gone full ham on what people want to pack, I suppose. People want to pack a striker, don't they? That's what they want.
People love that Miroslav Klose.
Yeah, other than it. I packed him, tradable World Cup icon. Close, I was fuming.
Don't blame me.
Well, now that you've mentioned the word centre-back and potential candidates that could have deserved to have one, Cannavaro.
Exactly who I was looking at. 2006 captain.
Surely Maldini was in the team as well in 2006, no? Or was that?
Yeah,
I think he might have been injured, if I remember. If I'm proper trying to channel back.
But the first name that would always pop up for that Italian, for a centre-back, would be Cannavaro, because of him being that captain. Let's move on to the next subject, and we're going to talk about an EA cock-up right here. What? So...
Surely not.
Yeah. Surely not. Yeah.
Also confirm Maldini was not in that World Cup squad.
Nesta then, yeah?
Yeah, Nesta was, but I think he wasn't injured.
So... as we know, World Cup swaps is out, and there was only meant to be 50 tokens in total, but they released a few too many. They did some dupes, so basically there was like 2 dupe tokens in the objectives on Friday. I think it was on Friday. Actually, no, I think they released it on Saturday, the squad battle based ones. So they had to quickly fix that, because obviously nobody realistically wants a dupe swaps token unless somehow they've already spent that token, in which case fine, it's good. So now the total's been increased to 52 because of that mess up. So, an extra 2 tokens, you might be able to get something that you might not have been able to afford first initially with just the 50 tokens, because you might have already brought some things. So if you're 2 tokens short on wanting something, you can now buy it. But what do you make of that as a mess up by EA? Like, a bit weird to be able to lose count of how many you've released and then release another 2 and they be dupes.
Yes, I think it's lost count of who they. It's not even them forgetting how many. It's just them not realising which ones they've released yet, and then having to turn that into a cock up.
I thought there was 60 tokens.
I thought it was 50.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've said somewhere that it was 50. Yeah, actually, when you got the first token for free, I'm pretty sure that pop-up message said 50 tokens.
But even if it did, they also stated that there would be additional tokens available via the store. So there's been 2 tokens available via the store, which would make sense for the 52. So if that is the case, then all they've done is made a mistake by duplicating the swap token, and it's not a mistake.
I mean, we like being cynical here sometimes, so we might just lump this under. We're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. It's something that easily could be a mistake.
Guilty.
But I think there's a lot of. I don't think there's enough communication from EA regarding the tokens, because there's a lot of confusion as to how many tokens there are. I'm actually still sure there's 60, but I've got a guy that does a token tracker in my Discord, and we're pretty sure it's 60, because there was 60 on Footman and in concepts, right? But I don't know if that's. I don't know. I don't really pay attention because I don't care about the tokens. No, I do care about the tokens. They're a great part of the game. I care lots.
They are. They are. I mean, I don't even do it for the pack. I'm not even doing it for the packs at the moment. I'm doing it for the random players. It makes no sense to do that, but you know, it's
cool though.
Cards that you wouldn't get to use. So
yeah, sure.
The Enna Valencia card, the Ake card I enjoyed.
Yeah, it looks
stuff
pretty
like
good.
that.
But in terms of SBC content-wise, we've had 3 lots of Showdown SBCs. We've, as I mentioned, Puyol SBC came out. So I'm going to start off with the Puyol SBC because it isn't an expensive SBC to do. It's only a 5-part one. So it's the bronze squad, the silver squad, and then it's only an 83, 84, 86 rated squad. So, you know, if you do want to own an icon, even though they're not particularly that amazing like this FIFA in terms of helping with the chemistry and stuff, but if you do want to own an icon without necessarily packing them, there you go. Or doing one of the like challenge, the SBCs, you know, icon, you want to know who you got at the end of it. That's a nice cheap one to get. Obviously, I'd probably say he's not probably the most ideal centre-back to have. Obviously, he's a bit short. I've always stipulated I'm not a fan of shorter centre-backs. And pace-wise, he is under the 80 pace threshold, which means with this whole change of meta in the game, he probably might be a bit too slow, I would say. Would you agree?
I probably wouldn't personally use him. Like, I think he'd be an alright centre back. Like, I wouldn't say to somebody, "Oh, you definitely shouldn't do him." I think he'd be alright. But I feel like his price reflects that he would be alright, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think it's an expensive SBC. You know, if you do, say you do champs, rivals, and you do then a couple of upgrade SBCs and stuff like that, getting an 83 and an 84 rated squad is really easy. The only thing you might struggle with a little bit is the 86. So maybe potentially you might have to buy a couple of players. But I think most people, if you do want to do that SBC, you're doing it really cheap and mainly from your club. So I wouldn't spend the coins to do it. But if you've got the spare fodder, I don't think it'd be a bad one. As long as you've got someone big next to him, like VVD, for example.
But going over to the Showdown SBCs, we'll start off with the first ones that expired, which was Trossard versus Kovacic, so Belgium versus Croatia, and that was for the final group stage game for those two players. Obviously, Croatia won that.
It was a draw.
So...
It was a draw.
Oh, it was a draw, sorry.
Yeah,
it was a draw.
One job.
One job. Hey, this is what I have to do when I'm making it up at the last minute with all these notes and stuff. I don't get everything down. I didn't think I was leading this podcast until the last minute. I thought Luke was leading.
Ooh,
Luke's
being thrown.
I blame the guest. Oh wait, that's me. No, I don't blame the guest.
yeah, blame him.
No.
Okay,
I blame Brad for not being here. Damn it.
Yeah,
Brad's responsibility.
yeah, Brad's fault.
Yeah, I blame Brad too.
Did either of you two do over player?
I did. I do every SBC, so that's silly.
Okay.
But
do you
I haven't used
then
them.
use them?
No.
Yeah, I haven't used them.
I
was tempted to do
sorry,
Trossard. Yeah, I was tempted to do Trossard myself, but I didn't.
I think they're all of them so far, all of the showdowns, they've been relatively cheap, like really cheap to be fair, most of them, but they're very, very underwhelming cards. Even with the upgrades, even if they win, they're still not good enough to make people's teams. EA have, like, the power curve is too high right now. And them bringing out 85 rated showdown cards that even if they win, they go to 87, even 86 rated showdown cards, they're not going to make people's teams. So, like, any of the upgraded showdowns, I just don't think. I think the only one that will potentially be plausible will be that Torres if Spain win, because he'll go to an 88 and he's quite a good card. But again, he's probably got a sell-by date of Team of the Year at most, in my opinion.
I would say some of these showdown cards have actually been usable within the power curve and potential use within teams. It's just maybe the ability to comfortably fit them into one's team. Like, say, for instance, the Trossard. I used his inform card, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to consider doing this. With the upgraded stats, 89 pace, 88 dribbling, 86 shooting, 85 passing. He can play in a range of different positions. Playing McCam, I think that it's the stats within the power curve, personally.
I don't think usable is the correct word if I said they're not usable. What I mean is they're no better than what people have got. Like, example, I played 40 games a weekend league this week and I didn't play one showdown card at all. Like any showdown card. Not just the Trossard thingy one. I didn't play against one showdown card. So which for me just shows that people aren't doing the SBCs. Or even if they are, they're not adding them into their teams because their teams are already better, let's say.
Potentially, yes.
I mean, I've only done one of them, so I can sort of attest that I've not used them yet. It's sort of more for, I guess, long term because there's not going to be a better version of them.
Yeah, I completed them as a card collecting thing rather than actually using the cards, to be honest. I might use them in swaps eventually, but at the moment we're using these pink cards, so...
I mean, I've actually done one of the showdown cards, and I mean, he's not better than what I've got in my team, admittedly, because my attackers, anyway, is quite a good selection of players in my team. But I thought I wanted to do it because I'm seem to be building up this collection of Eredivisie players, which is Bergwijn versus Aronson. So that was for the Netherlands versus the USA for the round of 16, which obviously Netherlands comfortably won. So he's earned his +2 for that. And again, okay, admittedly, he probably doesn't necessarily look like super OP, but in terms of maybe trying to create a fun-looking team or something like that with Eredivisie players, I thought definitely it's the main reason why I did that card. Because the problem is I didn't do Klaassen when he first came out, and I kind of regret doing it because that, again, building up collection for like Eredivisie players or even Ajax players in particular was a regret I have. But again, Aronson, I would agree, probably doesn't look that particularly amazing stat-wise as a card. But I'm guessing, again, sort of similar situation. You've done it because you do every SBC. And then Luke, you probably... I guess you might potentially have done Bergwijn.
I didn't do Bergwijn.
You
I mean,
didn't do
it's got his ones to
Bergwijn.
watch generally. If I'm doing Spurs past and present, that covers all the positions outside of striker. Would I really need a striker if I'm doing that to specifically be Bergwijn? Not really. So the only one I've done is William Carvalho because it's a good link to Fekir if I decide to pick that card up. It's also him with 70 odd pace, which that doesn't exist on William Carvalho. I don't know if you've seen him. He normally has like 30 to 40. So it's something that will maybe enable stuff throughout the year is where I'm thinking. It's the same reason why if I'd done the Rodrigo if I remember to do Rodrigo, I've got Harrison. But maybe I'd have done Aronson for a nice little link just in case series happen and stuff like that. But outside of that, not too fussed about them.
I don't know if I did that Carvalho. Who was Carvalho in the thing with?
I can't remember.
I don't feel like I did that Carvalho, and I don't know why. Maybe I didn't. No.
He didn't get the upgrades, so let's have a look at the ones that did not get upgrades and probably come straight to...
There's not been that many.
Diallo? Was it?
No, Diallo was the first one.
No.
Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Yeah, I didn't do... Oh, no, I didn't do that. I didn't do the first set of showdowns. I don't know why. I think there was a load of SBCs out at the time, and there wasn't any, like, upgrade packs or anything. So, and I wasn't going to spend coins on doing them.
Well, there we go. I've done an SBC that the person who does every SBC hasn't done. You know, there we go. That's some bragging rights right there.
I have all of the Showdown Plus ones apart from Cavallio. Cheers.
You'd love to see it.
And I have all of the Showdown ones apart from Dijalo and Jimenez.
So to quote AJ Freedent, you do all the SBCs except for the ones you haven't done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Get that. Okay. And then going on to the last ones, which is Ferran Torres versus Ziyech. So Spain versus Morocco, which is, at the time of recording, the SBCs are still live. And as you say, potentially the most usable card with Ferran Torres. Ziyech would be considered usable if he didn't have a 2-star weak foot.
Oh, I have absolutely no idea why EA haven't buffed his weak foot here. Even making it 3-star, like, I just don't understand what logic they have in not boosting his weak foot. They've shown that they can boost weak foots in promos. Like,
yeah,
making somebody like... I know it's early on in the game. I'm not asking them to make him 4-star, 5-star, 5-star, but at least make him 5-star, 3-star where he's usable. I'm sorry, but a 2-star weak foot... I mean, you've got the Travella method, which works, but a 2-star weak foot, like, you've got no versatility in your attacks. I wouldn't be using someone with a 2-star weak foot.
The last time I remember someone with a 2-star weak foot being widely used was Robben. That was Robben's flashback in his footies cards.
Yeah, Di Maria maybe a little bit as well, but not masses.
Not widely. Like
Yeah,
that Robben card with Kleiber was.
I remember that. That was FIFA 20, wasn't it?
I think that was FIFA 20, and it was absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that Kleiber was crazy good.
Freaking every single person's centre back, and it was a nightmare.
And then last SBC that's come out in the last 7 days is Zimmerman has earned himself a SBC card. Probably don't need to spend much time on it because it is an MLS card. Doesn't maybe look too bad in terms of like defensive stats, 79 pace and stuff, but no one's realistically going to care too much unless they're running a MLS team or a American USA team, I guess. But other than that, it's just a cheap card.
It's the kind of card I do, to be fair. I mean, I did the Dejanek. I've already got a better.
You got an upgrade. I got that. I did him as well. I did him as well. I do every SBC, don't I? Other than the ones I don't do.
Yeah, other than the ones you don't do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done Dejanek, but I also paired him up with the Cameroon swaps guy. Fun fact, that Cameroon swaps can play centre-back, even though it's a left-back. And yes, there's a 93 pace MLS centre-back again.
So you're a rat, basically.
I mean, they weren't exactly good together. It's a position change. It's a position change to centre-back.
Exactly.
It's fine. It's legitimate.
Is that respectable, is it?
It's respectable. It's a 93 pace centre-back.
Yes.
That's actually position change. Legitimately, is a centre-back.
Yeah, exactly. If EA says on the card it can play centre-back and you put it centre-back, that's not a ratty thing to do.
I don't
the only
think putting
real
the right
ratty
back at
thing,
centre-back,
I guess, is still to do is play in a 5-at-the-back formation.
Oh yeah, no, that can bin itself off right away.
Yeah, or passing around the back for like 60 minutes, even when it's 0-0 or something like that.
I only do that in extreme cases. No, I don't. On a serious note, I don't play like that. I like to actually have fun.
On FIFA?
Yes.
I'd make stupid teams and do things with that, yeah.
Got a bit confused for a minute, sorry.
E-Prem threw me off for ages because I was having to just build a basic Premier League team, and normally I have my wacky, stupid hybrids.
Yeah,
So
it sucked, didn't it?
I didn't know what was up.
It did suck.
Had to invest $1 million+ into Prem players when I just don't want to be doing that.
They will get unlocked accounts as well for the next round, which is quite frustrating.
Great. I mean, I wasn't close.
But other than that, there's nothing really else to add to it. I don't. Well,
Icon
from
pack?
what I remember. Hey, the icon. Oh yes, today's SBCs. In fact, yes, upgrade SBCs. So, AE7 plus base or mid icon pack has returned, and it's a 80+ double upgrade Upgrade SBC. Not really a fan of those packs. So I don't think I'll be doing many of those unless it's for content at the end of the day. But let's focus on the icon pack. Obviously, let me just double check what price it is currently on Footbin. It is coming in at 273k. 3 SBCs to do to complete it. All three of us have done the SBC. Or actually, I'm presuming, Rocker, you must have done it if you do things for content.
I haven't done it.
He's done it, but not opening it yet. Or he's in the process.
No, it is done. Yeah, I tell a lie, I have done it. I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done it, but not opened it. Okay,
I've
fine.
actually done it while we were on this podcast.
People's.
I finished it.
Oh, there you go. Making the best use of his time, just like when I play squad battles this week.
Do you want to reveal what you've packed, or do you want to keep that a secret?
No, I got Carlos Alberto's base card, which I'm very happy with. You see Brazil and you dream bigger, but
that's not bad actually.
It's good to actually see a Brazilian when you teased it.
It is good. It's better than what mine is, and I haven't actually revealed what I packed. I said it was a stinker, but I don't think I actually named the player before we actually started recording. So I saw England. So as soon as I saw that flag, I was like, "Yeah, great. This is now.
It's over."
Then I saw centre mid. I was like, "Yeah, it's got worse." And then I saw Beckham. So I was like,
I
not
mean,
the best.
This isn't
it's
even
better.
a situation that, well, he doesn't
Not
support
really.
England at the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm a Spain fan. If you don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
no. What I mean is, it's better than Gerrard and Lampard. Not much better.
I don't know.
But
I would say Gerald would probably be better.
yeah, it's probably arguable, really, isn't it?
I mean, Beckham's
say it
three
too
star,
loud.
3-star.
Let's be
Uh,
realistic.
Mike,
Yeah, they all suck.
Yeah.
If you don't see
Exactly.
Ferdinand, then
I don't even think Ferdinand's any good anymore. He was good. Was it like what year was he good? When his goal, like his 85, everyone used. It was FIFA 20
That
again,
was
I think.
icons.
might have been, yeah.
Everyone
might have been.
used
It
his,
sounded-
Yeah.
We're all reminiscing FIFA 20. God.
That was my first year playing the game, so that's all I remember. I don't remember anything previous.
fair.
Yeah,
I'm
his
a
base
FIFA
was
12
good.
guy. I'm all the way back to FIFA 12 as my first year.
There, that's a long time.
Yep, I was very much still in school at the time, but I only started creating content about FIFA 21. So
Yeah, it's a long time to play and not do. I mean, I'm sure it's the same for everyone. They wish they started prior to when they started, really, don't they?
yeah, I mean, I didn't really have the facilities though. Never sort of. I didn't have the ability to go out and get a capture card or something like that. And
Yeah, of course, yeah.
so, as much as I'd love to have, I mean, I was the kind of person back in FIFA 15 where I'd get excited over the last team of the week of the year.
Wow.
Before FIFA, like I ended up upgrading my team the week before FIFA 16 came out. With
Respect
an
it.
informed Geordie Alba made my team at that point. Those are the days when
FIFA's
the
changed.
it was the first upgrade he got all year as well. just
FIFA
just
has
a normal
changed.
+1 Geordie Alba. It is very much changed. Whether you think it's for the better or not, depends who you ask. I mean, a lot of people will say the same.
That's going to be it for this week's Free Foot Tiers podcast. Thank you again, Rocco, for subbing in for Brad. Say anything, Rocco?
Oh, sorry. I
Doesn't sound too excited about it.
I did. I thought you were ending. I didn't realise you were, referring back to me. I put my thumb up to the camera, like, yeah, you're good, I didn't realise I had to do like some speech or something.
Not everyone watches on YouTube. Some of my viewers on Apple won't
Thanks for
have
having me
seen the
on,
thumbs
boys.
up.
Been a pleasure.
That's all right.
Good to chat to you.
Oh, it's been good for sure.
Right. Wait. Write note down. Do not invite Rocco.
No, he's definitely higher up the list than some.
Yes.
Prompt him.
GH.
But But yeah, Luke, thank you for being on the podcast as always.
No worries.
And we will see you again, hopefully with Brad, next week. Goodbye.
Peace out, guys.